Welcome to Banished. I am Rever, and this is going to be a new series on a hard and harsh map. So we are going to dive right in right away. I hope to get the achievement of 300 people. And if you're wondering why I don't have more achievements on a game that I've played for hundreds of hours, it's probably because I played all modded, and I don't tend to worry about the achievements. But I do like to set a goal to these series that we'll be sure to reach. And I think a population of 300 is a wonderful goal to start out with. If things go particularly well, maybe we'll go for 600 or some other goals if we can get them. So let's dive right into a new map. And I've already decided to call my little town Revingham, right? I think that's a fine name for a small town. And we're going to go with this map seed and hope it's a wonderful one. We're going to go with valleys as opposed to mountains, large train size, and that'll help us a little bit in getting to our population goal. Probably doesn't make a massive difference on getting started. In other words, the things you need to get your started on hard mode, it doesn't make it massively more difficult if you choose large or valleys. Though it really more depends on the map start itself than it does. Because if you get a good mountain start, that's better than a bad valley start type thing. But again, valleys are more likely to give you a good start and the room to expand your population. The climate, harsh, yes. So that'll just make the winters that much colder and the growing seasons, I think, a little bit shorter. But in any event, we will get that. The growing seasons, I don't think, are affected that much. You can still grow a crop, but you just have to be right on top of it. So hard starting conditions, that will be just fewer families and no seeds. That's the big one right there. And very little as far as firewood and clothing and stuff like that goes. So it's a pretty tough and harsh way. So let me cut out the loading screen just for the sake of the length of the video. Here we go. Okay, I have paused it immediately upon entry, and let's see what kind of a start we've got. Ooh, really not too bad at all. Now this could be a wonderful starting location. Yes, we got some little hills here which will affect us down the road maybe, a little bump. But those hills, it's not bad to have hills because when it comes to putting in things like quarries and mines, you do want some mountains near you. It's hard to avoid. At least in the unmodded, you're going to get some mountains around you. That's not usually the problem, is too many mountains. But what I like about this is that we have a nice starting area with a lot of rock and stone, and yeah, so I think this is definitely doable. So now the question is, where do we want to start? And one of the first things I always do. Now we're paused, so we have time, and I'd like to. Yeah, let's get these screens where I want them. So I'm going to put this one up in this corner, and I'm going to put this event log down here, and then there's Revingham. So we start in the year 1. So this is 2,000 years before our other series. This is where we all started for the Revergrad and workers and resources. And I'd like to point out this game is very much socialist too. There's no money. And in this game, there's not even money to trade, right? So we're going to have to build a trading port along this river down the road. So there we go. So the first thing I like to do when I get into a map is twofold. Now, if I'm playing on a regular map, I'll do it a little bit different. Just when I'm playing not with harsh, I'll do it a little bit different. But the first thing I usually like to do is place down a market. Now, what the market does for me is we're going to build our town around this market eventually. So I like to leave it where I have as much room as possible. Now you want to be fairly close to the hills a little bit so that if you do put in quarries and mines, but I don't necessarily want them to be part of the town. So now if I go here, that's going to suck that mountain in pretty good. I can zoom out a little bit more. I'm not sure how well you guys are going to be able to see, but if I do something like along this lines, it really puts me pretty close. Now the reason to do this is that in the future, as we go to distribute things, we can distribute to anybody who lives there. I see a little bit of red there, so we can't quite put it right where I would necessarily. See, there's a hill right underneath of this. I hope you guys can see. Yeah, that's okay. We go a little bit south. Or do we want to come this way? I don't want to get too far away from the river because we can always build another marketplace like over here in the future. Yeah, with that in mind, I think I'm going to go a little bit closer to the river so that... Yeah, and then you know what? I can go a little bit further north. Yeah, I kind of like this. Like I said, we can always build another market. So now that I have that built, I'll usually click on it and immediately pause it. So the reason I'll leave this one open, say up here, is so that we know where that is, because as we do other things, I would prefer to not do them in there. Like, in particular, now what I would like to look for is a good place that we would get trees from. Now this is not necessarily temporary, but it could be. So for example, yeah, part of me wants to, well, see, this might be a better way to put another market up this way. So here's what I'm talking about. If we come over to our different industries, we're going to need to get food and whatnot up right away. But I usually like to start with at least laying down a forester's hut. And what I would do with this forester's hut is try to get it to where this could be 100% maximum. And I don't think that that's really going to be too realistic. Like down here has so few trees, so let's... There's no point in putting this guy further into the trees, right? Like we could encroach on our marketplace. I'm going to spin this one. Yeah, if we put this one here... Yeah, that will a little bit further over this way, a little bit further up. The problem is it's going to get into right where we do the mine. So if we build this here, it's definitely going to be, I think, somewhat temporary. So is there a better place? And I do like to keep them kind of 90 degrees off of here. We could come up here, though it's getting very far away from our original. So, yeah, so I think we're just going to build it here. And we'll see how we develop things. Yeah, it's kind of encroaching, but that's okay. We're on a hard... Now, if we click on this, I'm going to do the same thing and pause this. Now, these are the two that I'm going to tend to want to leave open. I'm just going to put them so they're out of our view as much as possible. So if you look, there's this overlap, and that's fine because we can use that marketplace, but we're probably going to be getting rid of this as we go to get into quarries and mines. And by then, hopefully, we'll stabilize ourselves. So the problem that we're going to have here with the way I've set it up is that it's going to be very inefficient to build over here. But let me do something else. Now, I want to lay down some roads just to get an idea of where things are at. Though I'm probably going to come along and delete the roads almost immediately. I'm going to build this road. Yeah, what are you hitting? Oh, you're hitting that hill. All right, let's just make sure it's straight. Yep, there we go. So that's a straight road. That'll give us an idea where we would want to build. Now the other thing I like to do right in the very beginning is I like to go one out from here. Like say something like this. Yeah, that little hill there is definitely going to be an annoyance. But that's all right. We'll work around it. Life in Banished is not always perfect. So now these roads are just guidelines for me to say, okay, this is where we're going to build stuff. Now what I don't like is that we're tending to get away from our river, right? Because we really want to get the basic needs going like ASAP, and I don't want to build those roads. So now the other thing I think I'm going to do, just for now, let's take another road. That's what I was starting to do, and I distracted myself. Yeah, see, I'm going not on there, but then... Yeah, so where does our... Starts right here. So it would be like here. Yeah, 1, 2 out. I just want to come like straight down this way. All right, so now we know where the marketplace ends. So if we were going to build a house that would supply for a fishing village or a fishing hut, let's get a fisherman going over here. Spin that guy around. Yep, so we could get a fishing hut there. Could we get, yes, we can go, let's go further over this way. Right, so we can have a fisherman there who's going to cover to about the bend in the river. And then if we were to put another one here, see how they're not really overlapping their area that much? So we're going to take this fishing dock and pause it. We're gonna build these things out to get started while we're paused until we at least get enough of the plan worked out that we know we're going to jump right on it. So now the reason I did this is because when we build a house, we want them eventually, if we can help it, to be within this zone. Alright, so there's two things that we can have. Now the other thing over here, and this is going to cause us to want to stay away from building over here as much, is there's two things that are really going to help us. One is the gatherer's hut, and that's actually, in this playthrough, a little bit more important than even the forester's lodge. I mean, the forester's lodge is important, but we can cut trees down manually. So I'm going to go back to roads, and I highlighted that guy for a second because I just want to put a road crossing in here so that we can lay down what I would consider the normal buildings. Let's go to food, and I'm going to put, we'll just take a look at where this, I'm going to put 4 different things around here. They have slightly different, see how the gatherers kind of fits in to almost the same circle? Some of them have a little bit different. So actually I'm thinking, yeah, you know what, let's put the gatherer here. I really want him to be at an absolute maximum. Alright, so there we go. So now we have a gatherer's hut, and I'm going to put that over here, even though I'm going to pause it. That's going to be one of the first things we build. The other one of the first things we build, it's going to be a hunting cabin. And I think I want to put that like right here. Now that'll get into the mountain a little bit, but there we go. So now we have this. So this is going to be maybe the second thing we build. So we'll have that over there. And we're probably going to build a fishing dock. We'll decide on which one pretty shortly into the whole thing. Alright, so now the problem with this is that it's kind of far away, and the more you have your people walking back to get food, it takes them a significant amount of time. So that means we're really going to want to get rid of this ASAP because we really almost have too much walking. This may cause us to fail. So now in the future, and I'm not going to do it right away because it will block us even further, we would put like a wood chop. Like, when I say block us further, I don't want to stop us from being able to gather up the materials. Like right now we can say, but we can put a little bit more industry around this. And like I said, it's going to be somewhat temporary. So we'll keep that in mind as we go to place houses here, that we may place them in this zone because eventually we're going to get rid of this and get another one going someplace else. Alright, so that's sort of enough talking about all of that, isn't it? Alright, so what do we want to do? I think what I'm going to want to do is also, we have 4 families, we have 14 people, which is kind of great. Though a lot of them are kids, which isn't so great because that means we have to feed kids, but then hopefully they'll turn to workers pretty quickly. Alright, so I want to come here and at least place one house right there. And what that'll let us do is these people will be the fishermen. Fishermen, there could be 4 fishermen, so eventually we'll probably want 2 houses down here. But what I want to do as well, and with this particular start, yeah, I usually don't want to build in here. You know what, I'm going to close, oops, not that. I am going to close this, so that we only have, so I see exactly where our forester would work. Yeah, you know what, and that's fine with me. I think what I want to do is we're going to build, sorry, a stockpile close to this, and I usually like to make it, say, 5 by 6. Right across the street from that, I want to put in a small storage barn. Alright, so let's put this on pause, and I'm not sure when we're going to build that, so we'll put that in a pile. And this guy we can get started on right away. He's very important. And then next to that small stockpile, I would like our firewood chopper. Right there. Firewood cutter. That way he's very close. Now I'm going to put one gap in between there just so that, and let's zoom in a little bit. One gap in between so that there we could put a road right there down the road. Now, you know, the other one we want to plan out now that I'm over here is the Herbalist. Not super critical to us, but I want to put him right there because we will want some herbs as we go forward. So we're going to pause that guy as well, and then I'm just going to close him. The other thing about pausing, you can come back pretty easy. Now we're going to pause this guy just because we're sort of pausing everything, but he's going to be one of the other first things that we build. Alright, so now what we need, as much as anything else, is some houses for our people. And I want to do this a little bit different than I might normally. Because we have that marketplace there, often what I'll do is I'll build a house like right near these guys, even though it's not in the marketplace. But in this case, I think I'm going to build it right there on the edge of the market zone. So we're going to go for like 5 houses. We're going to put the other ones like right here. Again, leave a space there. No space here. Right? Let's even put a 6th one in. And then we're going to pause all of these for now, so that we can control exactly what they work on. And there it is. And then is this one paused? Okay, so there we go. Okay, so let's make sure before we start up time that we have everything that we think we need. So we got a couple fishing huts. I got a house around that so that if we decide to build that. And we have our marketplace paused. We have a few houses for them to build. So I think what we want to do now, before we actually unpause it, is talk about getting some stuff. So we have our stockpile here, and as far as food goes, we have the Gatherer's Hut, right? That's the Herbalist. Yeah, let's get the Gatherer's Hut lined up, and we're going to do that first. Second. The very first thing I want to do is come up here and like clear out a little bit of the extra space. We're going to need a bunch of trees, and I don't plan on building. So these 3 buttons let us like just gather everything. So we're just going to remove like all of the resources that are over here. Now if you notice, it won't let us remove them where we actually place down houses or whatever it is, but this will just get us some resources. They should be pretty close to gathering the stuff. Yeah, what is this? This is our storage barn. Yeah, so we're just going to even close the storage barn. Let's go figure out which fishing dock we're going to work on first. I don't think it makes too much difference. This one's slightly closer. So let's close this other one. So we're going to do Gatherer's Hut, fishing dock. And again, I don't like how far away this is. That might be a big mistake. We're not going to do the Forester's Lodge. But I'm going to leave these 2 open. They shouldn't block our view too much, just so that we can continue to see those circles. And then the other thing we're going to want to do right after the fishing hut is the hunting cabin there. So we have a little bit of trees going. We're going to need a few more. We really don't have much of anything. So here's the rule of thumb that I like to follow. If we need stones, we're going to get them out of the area of our Forester's Lodge. right? So that way the forester can do his thing and do it to the maximum efficiency. However, we're going to still try to stay with as little work as possible. So in other words, we really want to stay working as close as we can to keep these people as efficient as we can get them. All right, so the other thing I need to do is come over. This in here is a road cancels tool, and we're just going to cancel all these roads. I don't want them building any of those roads to get started. I'd rather them. Yeah, I don't think we have any more. Yeah, so we can always go back and put in. I'm used to playing the Soviet Republic where you hit escape to get out of certain windows. Okay, so there we go. So now we're going to unpause this, and we're going to unpause the game. And let's make sure everybody gets off to a good start. Now, one of the things that when I play, I normally play very relaxed in the sense of just getting people to go do their thing without any, without speeding up time too much. Now, I don't think there's no window for time, is there? Nah, we just have to keep coming back down to here. So we can, yeah, see, to me, like, that's just too quick. I'd like to definitely stay ahead of them, especially here in the very beginning. So I don't know what your guys' opinion is. If it takes a few extra episodes, and if you think certain aspects of it are too slow because I'm on 1 speed, I just want to make sure that I don't make any mistakes, especially because I think I'm really stretching it with the distance these people are going. So you can see we're immediately coming over here and clearing our gatherer's hut, which is good. We'll get that built ASAP. Now, whenever you assign someone to a job and they don't have anything to do, they become a laborer. Now, I'm not sure if there's any extra efficiency to keeping them as laborers, but it certainly is not going to hurt if we put 3 of these people on as builders, because there's 3, if we look at our gatherer's hut, there's 3 possible jobs for them to do. Now that shouldn't have actually changed anything. So there we go. So now we have this. Now what I want to do is come back over to here, and I want to, they will, whatever order you put these, the order to do the resources, they're going to do that in that order. So if we were to come here and say, let's collect some stones, they're going to collect those couple stones first, and then they'll come by and do, we're going to try to stay out of the range of the forester zone, which I didn't do very well. Let's start like here, and I want them, we're going to need a bunch of trees. So then we're going to get them to do those trees. Now the other thing to keep in mind is that they're going to keep, you don't want to make your areas too big. Now another thing we can do is just come over here, just get a little bit of iron. I'm going to probably come over here, and there's no iron in there, but I just also want them to get whatever stones are right in the immediate area of our hut here. So that should give them, in order to complete our gatherer's hut, beyond removing that stuff, we're going to need a bit more wood. Now, I kind of jumped the gun a little bit, counting on the fact that when they cleared stuff, they were going to get some stone. We don't need that much stone and logs in order to get the gatherer's hut going. So I think we could safely at least go to 2 times speed. Like I said, sorry for my being a little bit of a wimp and not immediately going into 10 times speed, but like I said, I'm used to playing nice and casual and relaxed. Now, where is, you know what, the other thing to say is we have the Forester's Lodge open. Yeah, if I close this Gatherers for a second, and it's this hunting dog, yeah, okay, you know what, this is the range of the Gatherer's hut right here. So do we have enough stone? Not really, but it's a little hard to tell. And I think what happens is you really kind of want to let them build up enough materials, because they seem to get less and less efficient if you don't. Now, one of the things we also want to do compared to a lot of times I like to rely on this, but we're not going to be able to rely on this 100%. We're really going to want to get this barn built a little bit quicker than not. And really at this point we just, as much as anything, just try to keep everybody busy. But there we go. We did have enough materials and supplies. So they're going to go around gathering up some more stone and whatnot. And as soon as we have enough stone, I think we're going to get them on this fishing dock. So see, there they go. So this is the inefficiency, is they have to walk all the way back here to get food. Now in the long run, having this here is not going to be a bad thing, because the fish can come into here, and if you look, I didn't really, oh sure, I planned that out perfectly. This is inside of the zone of our marketplace. Not that that matters until we build the marketplace, but it gives you an idea that there's no reason this can't function as a storage for us, for the foreseeable future. But we really need to get food going, like just ASAP, no questions asked. And I'm hoping that we didn't spread ourselves out with tasks all over the map too much. And I don't think we did. I mean, we have a good concentration of things like trees that we can take out in this area, which is a good thing. And then eventually we will build the road that goes from here across, and that'll get them going a little bit faster back and forth. We just really want to get the food going ASAP, and then firewood's going to be a really close second. So we will come back over to wherever it is. Yeah, the wood cutter. We definitely want to get that guy going pretty darn quick as well. See, they're already going in and getting rid of some of the stone, while those 3 people should be working on building this. And we will assign a person immediately. Definitely hoping that one of these children turns to an adult pretty quickly. It would be nice to get some more labor going. There we go, Gatherer's Hut. So it can hold up to 4, and I don't plan on another one anytime soon. So I'm just going to put somebody immediately to work in our Gatherer's Hut, just so that we can immediately start getting the food coming in. Right? Now I don't want to take too many people away for gathering food, but if we run out of food, we're done. So there's just no way around it. Now we need 16 stone. It looks like we'll have that in a minute. As a matter of fact, stone is going to be, let's do a few more. Like again, I don't want to assign too much, because you can see we'll get some more stone just because it's really close, and then we'll get some more trees after that. And then, do we have enough stone? Not quite yet. We'll wait till we do. Now this is going to take a while for them to build this all the way down here, which is unfortunate. But at least they don't have to remove anything from the fishing dock area, so that'll speed it up somewhat. Yep, we got 18, so let's unpause the fishing dock, and I guess we can close the Gatherer's Hut. We don't need that open anymore. And then the next one that we want to get, the hunting cabin's really good to get, because even though it won't help maybe this winter, we will be able to get a tailor and use the hides from the hunting cabin. Plus, in addition to that, they will get us meat and stuff. Now, I don't know if this is the best location ever for a hunting cabin, and we can also end up doing another one once we get a little more settled, like over here. They're not a bad thing to just plop in the distance from your thing. Now, we got to watch out, because we're not going to have a ton of people to get started here either, so we do want to do that. Now, say that the problem with this that we're doing now is that it's taken them a while to go all the way down here and drop off the stuff. So that's one of the reasons that you want to make sure that you have enough stuff, is so that as they head down there, they're going down with like the maximum, that they don't, because otherwise they'll end up heading down there with like one thing, which is just no good. Now the positive is, look, they're going to get food at the same time, so well, I don't know if they're going to get food. Hopefully some people, yeah, some of them dropped off some stuff before they went to get food. So really efficiency is really our biggest problem. And building that fishing hut far away is probably not the most efficient thing to do. Now, well, let's just see. We're going to have to wait to see how much. I think we're going to only have 10 stone left when we're done. But we have a good amount of logs, which we'll go through real quickly making firewood and then building houses. So we're really not in a comfortable position yet. Now we assigned some. Let's assign a few more stones. Okay, we've already assigned all those stones. Well, let's just. Now those are underneath of those buildings. So you want to get rid of things like stones like this. So we're getting less efficient, right? Because if they have to come all the way over here to get the stones and cut them and all of that stuff. And I don't want to get too far ahead. Now we can always come over here and cancel orders, right? So we can come here and just say, you know what, let's not do those right away. Let's just see how we're making out. This first year is not about anything other than getting enough food and firewood. And the firewood isn't typically the end of the world. We can, start making it throughout the winter. We just really want to make sure we get it going. At least, hopefully, by the end of the end of the summer here. So we still have some time. We're not that much of a hurry. But there we go. Good. We got all the materials. And look, we have everything we need for the hunting cabin too. So as soon as they get done, I know, you know what? We can only put 2 people. We have 3 builders. So you should see another builder pop into here once the game goes through its thing, because we have 3 builders now. Oh, good. We have another worker. Good. So we're back up to. So we now have 9 workers. That's good. That's one of the things that'll kill you is having too many children. It's really okay that we're not building these houses, because there's no chance that we're going to have any more babies until we have a food supply. I think if you're going to fail, it's going to be because you build too many houses. And then the other thing we're going to want to do is, we need a lot of things. 95 wood. I like to have the excess wood. Good. They're down here building this. They do need to remove a little bit from here. That's just now at this point they just need to get that out of there. Now this is probably designated for removal. But yeah, so eventually we'll build the roads, which will make them more efficient at carting these things back and forth. But for now, we're just going to do one little step at a time and hope for the best. Yeah, so I think after we get our fishing dock going and somebody is signed, we'll pause it. We'll have our hunting. We'll come back just really immediately, and I'm going to do many of these episodes back to back. So if I don't hear your comments, that's the reason. It might even be a couple weeks worth of recording that I do, but at the very least, I'm going to do another episode immediately after this. This will be the episode that goes up on Tuesday. There'll be one on Thursday. Yeah, so to see what are they doing now? Do they not? No, they have things to do. They're getting food. And see, that's where we really want to get this barn built. As more and more activity happens here, we have to get that barn going. So let's click on the barn, and when we come back, we don't. That's not necessarily my bigger priority. That's the house. The woodcutter. A woodcutter. Oh, look, we got the fishing dock. So we are going to immediately put a fisherman on the fishing dock. And again, that'll take away from our builders and laborers, but at the same time, I think it's more important. So this is what we're going to do when we come back in the next episode. We are going to build the hunting cabin, which we're already in the process of dropping off stuff. That's good. And once we get those 3 people, the next one that we're going to get is going to be the woodcutter. And then after that, we have to talk about the housing. So the question of whether to get the storage barn or the housing going, I think, is pretty similar, and probably would even lean toward the housing. There you go. So, like I said, if I don't respond to your comments before the next videos, this is the reason why. But I'll respond to the comments, but if I don't do anything about it in-game in the next episode, don't be too upset, please. Not that you would be, but there you go. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me pause it for a minute, and we'll pick up in this pretty much the same exact location in a couple days. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.